Now that was one fun match. Vader being beaten by Space Violence. Space Violence move in for a rematch with Reavers in Game 16. This could possibly be the final match of the day. Obviously, if Reavers win the match, then they will go through to be first with Space Violence second. However, if Space Violence wins, they go around. They go through to a second round where Reavers will fight Space Violence once more, and the winner of that match will be the decisive winner of the Imperium tournament. Vader knocked out in that match. It looked like it was going to go sort of either way. That Navy Slicer going down first, but that like we discussed previously, that Blackbird, like if you don't get the ECM off the field, chances are it's going to mess with you. What do you think, Moomin?
Oh, there. Yes, quite simply is. I like
can't remember
Blackbird.
back that far, but yeah, it's as you were saying, or as I was saying, Evo is king in this game if it's used properly. And it looked like when the Slicer went down first that it was going to be a repeat of Vader doing really well. And well, it went the other way. Sorry, Vader, I hexed you.
Yeah, it was a poor Vader. Like those guys were like a wild card. Like nobody knew, or nobody kind of knew who they were. Like they didn't have like a big name FC, I guess. Like Asher the Smasher Elias or Jay Amosisness. But they've done really well. Like they've come through the preliminary matches. They lost against Bombwolf, but they made it all the way to out to the finals. And they actually came in third place. So third place is nothing to be ashamed of. A great, they knocked out Bomberwolf. They actually knocked out Buttsink as well. So they've just been running through and absolutely destroying everybody that they've met. Ran up against the wall against Space Violence, but it's definitely going to be an interesting match to see Reavers and Space Violence fight each other. What do you think about the upcoming match, Gommel?
Reavers and Space Violence, that is going to be probably one of the more interesting matches. There is a little bit of rivalry between the two groups, and I'd like to see which one, whether you have Space Violence's experience versus Asher's knowledge of game mechanics and grid foo, which will actually prevail. That'll be, I think that'll be a really even matchup, and one that will be matchup that people should not miss.
Well, let's not forget here that Space Violence actually has to win twice against Reavers to win the tournament, and Reavers only has to win once.
Well, that might make it a little bit more difficult.
That is correct. It really just depends. Like there's a lot of luck involved as well. I think that if Space Violence wants to win, they have to keep in mind that pretty much throughout every other match against Reavers that I've seen, they've heavily used tracking disruptors and missile disruption as well. So they're going to need to be able to prepare for that. Possibly bring like a some kind of drone-based doctrine, but they can only use Tech 1 drones. Borax, you had something for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you call this. I mean, Nash is on a better winning streak than he ever has when he's actually taken out fleets. But it's just too close to call. I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, so Azure and Argent makes a good point in the Twitch chat that Reavers have already beaten Space Violence once. So I think that that match was really close as well. So it really is anybody's game. As Sothrasil said, if Reavers win the next match, that's it. It's game over. But it's still only 2 matches, and they can still pull it off.
Yeah, if you put it that way, the statistics would favour Reavers.
I think this tournament stuff. If you get lucky, you can have a really good run, which has happened to sort of happened to a number of teams. It's Eric. I'm going to pass to you. What do you think is going to happen in the next match? What are we going to see from the other teams?
I think we're going to see another interesting combination of tactics and ships from the Reavers, and I think they're gonna win. What I hope for is an interesting match and a long match from both sides, that they just duke it out.
I'm looking forward to, it'd be really cool to see sort of like just a massive brawl in the middle of the arena, but something tells me that we may see the return of the kite from Reavers for the final match. I think a lot of people are expecting a brawl, but only time will tell. Kiala, what do you think is going to happen in the last match of the day, or the last matches?
I think a return of the kite is very possible from Asher. What I'd like to see is it go to game 17, just to have it on edge. But I don't know if that's in the plans or not. We'll see.
I really hope that it doesn't. I hope Reavers take it out and I can go to bed for an hour before I have to go to work. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice for you.
But we can't all have what we want. But well, the good thing is, I believe that from the we can discuss what happened in the fireside. I think the Matani was talking about this style of tournament happening quarterly. So, hopefully if that goes off, then there'll be plenty of internet spaceship violence for everybody to watch. I'm just looking here. The prize pool for the tournament is currently at $5 billion. Obviously, if anybody wanted to donate any more risk or that sort of thing, then they can. I might actually pass over to Eric to continue the conversation while I jump on Skype and see if I can rustle up some more prizes.
You're gonna go rustle up some prizes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good luck on doing that.
Ask
So
Jay, maybe he has some super parts that are left over.
There you go.
So how's the prize money split then?
I don't know
Let me look that
because
up.
Reavers
Maybe
had like
that's why
30
V4
people,
had a
right?
6-person team. Easier to split the money.
I think the good thing about this is like everybody signed up to the tournament just to have some fun and to shoot some internet spaceships, and they didn't really care too much about the prizes. They just want to be better than everybody else.
And that's something that I really love to see when you could tell that a game is really legit and in becoming a bona fide esport when it's actually getting its organic tournaments being arranged and executed by the player base. And all we need is a little bit of support, extra support from CCP. I mean, they've already given us this wonderful server to hold the matches on. If they could throw in a bit on the prize end, that would be amazing, because then that would give the Imperium tournament a bit more legitimacy, in which I think it is something that they could definitely use going forward in future competitions.
Yes,
I think that in the future, with if the tournaments are open to everybody, then CCP will be more inclined to support them, just because it's difficult to just give a bunch of prizes to only a specific group in EVE, and like just allow them to run an internal tournament. But I think that really the evolution of this is something which has been happening for a number of years. Like it started off with people trying to run tournaments just by themselves, which they're inherently difficult, and it makes it extremely it's a lot. It's like it's a heap of work to actually get something like this off the ground without any support from CCP, without access to Thunderdome. There's so many things you have to do. But CCP has been making it easier and easier, and if you sort of look at tournaments and things like that have happened over the last 3 or 4 years, you actually see, like a gradual trend in more and more tournaments coming through and happening. The quality of the tournaments getting better, and I really think that for EVE Online, this is what you would call sort of the birth of the EVE Online esports. Like right now, it's been happening for the last couple of years.
So to come back to you with the prices, we currently have 9 billion in the prize pool. First place will get 50% of that. Second place 25%. Third place will get 15%, and fourth place will get 10%.
If Ash's team wins, I'll give them all jackdaws.
Nice.
All right, so the next match coming up is obviously this could be the final match. It'll be Reavers versus Space Violent. I think everybody in the studio is kind of all over the place of whether they think Reavers or Space Violence is going to win. Let me have a look and
I don't
see
know.
what we
There's a
can
lot
pull
of
up.
black and gold jackets sitting on the screen right now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I just noticed that. Was that you?
What? Was that me?
Was that you, or was that Skeptic who did that?
Skeptic did that. Skeptic put all our regular, avatars on rather than the cameras.
Oh, nice. I love it.
So yeah, so it's looking good. So hey, it's going to be an interesting match. Let's hope both teams bring their best, and we have a great match and a great fight here that we all get to watch.
Just reviewing the background stories for both of the teams. The major strength for Asher Elias's team is their sexuality, and they have been training several times a week for the past 6 weeks, which is quite a big push, and I think that's kind of reflected in how well they're doing. But for Space Violence, they say they have had 0 practice so far. So, I guess maybe practice isn't everything. This is more skill for them, just inherent skill. I like Space Violence because they, if they had had to choose a team to win other than them, it was Jay's team. Let me have a look. I just got a message. 3 Balgorns donated to the prize pool by Vincent Makalik. I'm not sure who he is, but yeah, we'll definitely take them and add them to the prize pool somehow. I'll let Sothrasil work out how to divvy those up.
I mean, Space Violence is definitely the underdog here. They had a different team captain who then quit for some reason, and I actually pushed Zazat into taking over. So he usually doesn't do this kind of stuff. And I made him do it, and I think the return out of that has been great so far from them.
How did you make him do it, Soft? Did you get angry at him?
No, I just told him, well, you're team captain now. Go and get some people. I need a list of names in like a few hours.
Yeah, if you don't ask for volunteers, and if you ask for volunteers and nobody axes up, the best step to take is to just choose somebody and make them do it. All right, let me just check on a couple of things. Does anybody want to discuss with us things and internet spaceships? Because my brain is like absolutely dead right now.
I wanted to bring something up on the tournament itself, right? Eve is notoriously a difficult game to stream. I think we'd all agree on that one.
Yeah.
But things like this are what can make it much, much more popular, and doing this more often. Even doing something with a few matches every week for a number of weeks, culminating in a winner, would be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's also great for newer pilots as well, because on Thunderdome you get accounts with all 5s, which is also, I think, something which is really needed in terms of running tournaments, is because you want the teams to win because of skill, not because of skill points. Which is it looks like we've now got added to the prize pool not just 3 Balgorns, but also 2 Rattlesnakes. So once again, I'll leave from Tritanium Industries and Technology. I assume they're an Imperium corporation. But I'll leave that to Sothrasil to pass out. But back to tournaments. Having Thunderdome has made things a lot easier for pilots. The developer tools that we're given access to means that we can do a lot more. We can line up matches a lot quicker, but it means that there's a sort of secure and level playing field that we can use to actually run a tournament. So it really is, to me, it's CCP stepping up to support these events, and it's definitely something which I think we'll see this sort of thing grow in the future. Personally, I'm really excited to see what players can come up with it.
Yeah, the tournament.
It definitely makes things easier for our end as well. Just think about it. How do you control if someone is taking boosters as in drugs. How do you control if someone has implants plugged in on Sissy? That's a lot of issues you have to address and probably can't even address on Sissy. That
Control boss,
just
and-
go yeah, it just goes automatically on Thunderdome. You just get a warning, hey, this guy has a booster in the cargo hold, or this guy has that implant plugged in.
Cool. All right. What we're going to do now, guys, is we are going to come back from an ad break in just a second. The ad break will be for the EVE community outside of EVE Online. And And welcome back to the studio. We're just waiting for the Reavers and Space Violence match to get underway. That will be happening shortly. But we're going to spend a little bit of time discussing the EVE community. It is really what makes this game great, and really what binds like everybody together. So Eric, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion. I'm going to let you lead this one for us. Thank you.
Sure. And I mean, they're just like EVE Vegas, right? There are just a tremendous number of meetups that go on, both inside of corporations and organized meetups. I personally have actually never been to one. I was almost at the one here in my hometown, but I couldn't make it. But has anybody else in the panel here had the opportunity to go there, like EVE Vegas or something like that?
I was
I
at
wish.
TwitchCon, but I don't know if that necessarily counts because that's more of a trade show than a social event like EVE Vegas. But I do know that next EVE Vegas will be the first EVE Online event in a city that has legalized recreational marijuana.
What could
Just
go
something
wrong?
to consider.
And
Are you
wasn't
sure
the,
about that? Because
Yeah, Nevada.
let's
Totally.
remember Amsterdam here.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Amsterdam.
Well, you know, us US types, you know, we're very focused inward. We don't really care about the rest of the world. You guys all know all that stuff, right?
If it's
Really?
not in the
You
US, it
hide
doesn't
well.
count.
That's right. That's the way we are.
And Gommel, the last kind of event that you went on, didn't you push Matani down some ladder or something on a boat?
Oh no. I mean, it would have been hilarious if I did. No, he just fell because he was drunk. Actually, wait, no, I think that was pork butt.
Are we? No, yeah, I think it was pork butt. Are we allowed to actually air the dirty laundry? Yeah, what the hell? Do it.
I don't think that that's a good idea because there'd probably be some dirty laundry about me coming out. So
No, I think Marconi has put some picture evidence of it up himself. So I think you're good.
Sorry, what was that,
I've been
Shimmy? You're
passed
coming
on
out?
the floor of the yacht. Yeah, that was funny.
I'd really love to go to FanFest. It looks like a real scream to me.
You know what? I'm not so interested in FanFest, but I really want to go to EVE Vegas. It was just too close to Halloween for us this year with the kids, but I'm really looking forward to potentially doing it next year.
Yeah, same here. The wife and I were talking about Vegas, and she's like, Las Vegas? Hell yeah, I'll go to Las Vegas. Oh, wait, I have to hang out with nerds? Wait, fuck that.
No, does your wife run, Kamal?
Yeah.
We'll send her off with my wife. They can go run in the morning or whatever they do. They'll be good.
Oh, yeah, she'd love to have a running partner.
There you
I
go.
think maybe that sets a dangerous precedent. You don't want to get the wives talking now, do you?
Oh, my
we
wife
call them
knows.
gaming widows, but either way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Go to Grips is saying you've got to go now, Gommel.
Yeah, Gommel, I was actually watching you on one of the TMC streams, and I know you did a talk at TwitchCon, and also there was some people asking a couple of questions in the Twitch chat about accessible gaming. I think it is. Is that correct? Because I saw you doing like aiming. I'm not sure which game you're playing, but you know, aiming with one of those head trackers and that sort of thing. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a head tracking mouse cursor. So there's like a beret that I wear that's clipped to the hat that I always have on my head, and it's got a reflective sticker that gets read by this IR sensor, and it will move the mouse across two monitors, literally with my forehead. So when I play a first-person shooter, when I look around in real life, I'm looking around in the game just as much. So it's a really interesting way to play. Obviously, I'm not as good a shot as people who use keyboard and mouse, but I definitely can make zombie heads explode playing 7 Days to Die. And all of you guys who are listening should join me in that, because we've got our own private Imperium only server. And if you're a member of our community, you can get in on it. We just wiped it yesterday. So it's a fresh start, and it's a fantastic game.
I did grab that Gommel. It came up for sale again, so I definitely jumped out there and got it. I just haven't had time to join
when
you
it goes
guys.
on sale, it's like $10, or you can get like 2 copies for 15. For those of you guys who have, actual bona fide friends. Not me, that is.
Yeah, I got I think I got it as well while it was on sale, and had a go. It's an interesting. It's not really my type of game, but I actually found it quite interesting, like having to go and hunt down all of the things that I needed to build, the axes and those sorts of things. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, like the tutorial isn't great, but once you get past that, like I was lucky to have people in the Imperium community to talk to here on Discord, and actually ask all the stupid newbie questions, and sort of got through it and started enjoying the game. So I think it's definitely worth it.
That's one of the.
I mean, 7 Days to Die, it's a lot like Minecraft, except it does Minecraft better than Minecraft does Minecraft in a lot of ways. And just making it look less blocky, but still keeping the voxel base aspect to it is makes for a lot of customizations. So you can find prefabricated houses and customize them, fortify them any way you want. Or you could just build your own murder castle in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you've got so many options. There's so many different things to do.
How do
Okay,
you
we've
find
got.
time to play these games.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that's kind of cool about Discord. So those of you in the audience, if you're not in the Imperium Discord, there's any number of games going all the time. I mean, we just had a big patch. Skeptic mentions the H1Z1 whitelisted server and everything. We got a huge group of guys that do that, and those guys will bounce between 7 days and H1 too.
All right, let's bring you all back to the Imperium tournament. The next match is scheduled or slated to start in the next approximately 4 minutes. Last comments on this one, Borox. He's gone for coffee. Eric.
Oh, what? Hold it. I was just looking.
Reavers again.
No, I'd accidentally tabbed out. I can't call it, Kai.
Okay, Eric.
I think. You know what? I was reading another document. Shoot me that question again.
Reavers or Space Violence? Which one is going to win this match?
I'm going with Reavers. No question.
Gommel?
It's tempting to say Reavers, but Space Violence, they're capable of surprising. That's for sure.
Kiala?
I'm gonna say Reavers. I'm thinking he'll try a kite setup this time. We'll see, but I'm really hoping Space Violence will pull it off as the underdog. We'll see.
You just want another match as well, don't you?
I do. I totally want another match.
And last but never least, Moomin. Who do you think?
Reavers all the way, I'm afraid.
Reavers? Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I
Seriously.
think I'm going for Reavers as well. Like, they've just been unbeatable. And it'd be really cool to see them just go straight through, and for the first Imperium tournament, just set the bar really high for the next set of matches. But the meta has been really interesting, like having the Balgorns and only allowing T1 drones. I think that was a really smart move from the angry German Sothrasil. And everything like relatively well balanced, and but the only thing that I found a little bit unbalanced was the price of the Balgorn, but then again, everybody has the opportunity to bring a Balgorn, so you can't really complain. That's just what the meta is. There's always going to be something that's better than something else. Now, the teams are loading in and warping to the arena. We're going to head over to the commentary box. I believe that's going to be Eric Asmok and Moomin Amundsen for the final round. And Gommel. So it's Moomin and Gommel.
Hello, everyone, and here we are for potentially the final match here today. On the red team, we've got Reavers, and they've born to Navy Scorpion, Tengu, Nighthawk, Jackdaw, Moa, first time for seeing one of those, Hawk, first time for seeing one of those for Reavers, and for some reason, Reaver Geist is in a capsule. Not sure what's going on there.
Oh, that is interesting. For 0 points. Wow, okay. Space Violence is sporting a 6-man team with a Scorpion, logistics support by an Oneros. Then they've got a pair of faction battle cruisers with a Navy Harbinger and a Navy Bruitix, and then rounding it out with an Ashimu and a Kruger.
So yeah, I think that the capsule there is obviously coming in at 0 points, and that will actually take the Reavers team up to their full 7. So they haven't broken any rules, and the match is now underway.
Will Space Violence get any points if they actually take that capsule out?
No, it'll be there for like 0 points. So I think that Reaver is possibly just there for the scenery, and just to actually say that yes, they did turn up. Who knows? We might find out if there's a more interesting backstory later on. There again, both teams at the moment, we're seeing not a great deal kind of like happening. We've got some war elements happening. But no damage really kind of coming out at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see how that damage gets applied and to who.
Asher Elias looks like he's flying at Tengu this time. He hasn't done that in the past. Lately, he's been their logistics support. I don't think they have Lachi in this.
Well, could it be a rep goo? Yeah, it's like the
maybe
Lachi
it could
Tengu.
be a rep goo. That could be it.
And obviously, we know how tricky he is, so we couldn't put that beyond him.
Oh, that is true.
That's right. We got the Hawk taking like a little bit of damage, but that target painter went off and then back on again. There again, Asher is interesting. He's like sitting at 0, so that's unusual and looks a little bit suspicious to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, both teams appear to be playing it real safe. They're trying to maximize the amount of range that between the two fleets. But yeah, that Hawk's getting a little damage, easily repped. No real, they're just kind of testing each other out. Just seems like it's first touch.
Yes, it's sort of like, it's definitely a little bit of a cagey start. No one looking to actually kind of like rush in and suicide themselves for this particular one. The Hawk there again of Saren Blickfist does seem to be taking like the most attention from Space Violence. So they're definitely seeing that as the weak link in the Reavers team at this time.
Yeah, and they're making a point to definitely put some target painting on him, but he is catching reps from the MOA.
Exactly. So, that's going to be relatively kind of interesting how that pans out. But we're finally seeing some DPS applied now to the Navy Brutix. So it looks like they're going for a headshot of the team captain for Space Violence. We'll have to see how that holds out.
Well, if I know my Navy Brutixes, I imagine this one is pretty much hull tanked. So he's got quite a bit of buffer left before he's in any significant trouble.
That's it. It's not being stretched too much at the moment, and the Ineros or Space Violence flown by Jerry is more than capable of actually keeping up with any damage applied at this time. There again, it's a very tentative match. It's definitely an interesting one at the moment.
The convenient thing about the Reavers, though, is that if Asher does get headshot, you know that there is at least 1 or 2 other semi-competent, qualified FCs that could run the team while and recover from such a loss like that. So I'm looking at some large names. Thomas Lear could probably take over. Locke could take over. Norik. All of these people have FC'd before, so it looks like they're just kind of like a pair of boxers just circling each other, taking tentative hits, testing out their guard, seeing how they react.
Well, the crew of Space Violence, flown by Douglas, is definitely taking like a little bit of attention. The target painter was on them; it's off now, so it looks like Reavers are probably going to be looking to like switch out again. It's also very interesting to actually see the effects that are going on between that very tight ball that Reavers actually have there of their main competition. So you've got the Navy Scorpion and the Tengu very close to each other, and also the Nighthawk there as well.
And on the other side, it looks like Jerry Fredrickson in the Oneros was really playing it smart by pre-locking the career. So the second he started taking damage, they applied reps and kept him in the fight.
Which is, there again, it's like, exceptional logic piloting, particularly when you're looking at armor compositions, because the reps don't actually land until the end of a cycle. With the shield reps, they land at the start of the cycle, so when you turn on that module, the health is restored straight away, but completely the opposite with the armor ones. So, you need to be able to see into the future whenever you fly armor logic.
And that's why it was a particularly smart move to have that career pre-locked. Hopefully the Navy Brutix will get some reps as well, so he doesn't have to dip into the buffer of his hull tank. But the Reavers have not taken much of a scratch at all.
No, it's like
Their
a very
defense bar is
tight.
all the way up.
That's it. And I mean, it's massive as well. I mean, it's like they've really kind of like turtled up with this composition. So, which is interesting because even though they've got, more of the attack damage like coming through, unless they actually crack something, this ends up just being a Mexican standoff. And it's like, we'll have to see what happens after that point.
Yep, even that crew is starting to regenerate its shield. No one, I mean, there's really no. It looks like the unstoppable force has met the immovable object.
Very much so. I mean, it's great if you bring a decent kind of like turtle, like tank composition, but yeah, if if you don't have enough DPS to break through the other side, it just means that you get nowhere. But there again, they're going for that crew off, and it only takes a couple of points. If they just get a couple, then basically they can like sneak away the match. Not necessarily the glorious blaze of battle that we would hope to see, but definitely a very interesting match going on here at the moment.
Yeah, you could tell that Asher and the rest of the Reavers are very, very carefully positioning their fleet in relation to space violence, making sure they stay at range, and just cycling up the different targets. Looks like the Ashima is starting to get love, and he is not pre-locked. So if they could take that ship down, it's a hull tank, or it's a and it is starting to get reps, but they might be able to take that out of the fight or just switch to the career. Who knows? Just by cycling targets, they'll keep that Oneros on its toes.
Yeah, the bit that I'm looking for at the moment is just looking at how this is going to play out. So, I mean, we're down to 1 minute 40 seconds now, and this may be a case of just like, edging ever so kind of like closer, and then in the last kind of few seconds of the match, that they actually pull a rush and actually go for the damage at that point. Remember, it's sort of like, you only need to take out that crew up, which is like the weakest ship on the space violence side of things, and that means that Reavers get a win. Opposite to that is like that Hawk is obviously going to be a lot more tankier, and equally is like, the Reavers team is still really balled up as well.
Now, will space violence actually acquire any points It doesn't look like they would by killing that capsule.
No,
Surprised,
it's got a
with-
0 point value, so they've literally just brought it along for to have Reaver there, who does like great work on like the Logi side.
Oh,
We're
heads
down
up,
to like
Stardust Scorpion is starting to take some armor damage, and that could be the turning point in this battle.
yeah, but it's 30 seconds left or so, and I mean it's like someone has to do something soon, because it's like they are really really running out of time here at the moment. So we can see like some smart blom effects going off from the Scorpion there as well, but
Yep.
10 seconds remaining is like this
Not much
looks
that
like
can
they've left
happen
it too
here.
late. It really has. It's like not sure how we're going to do that. Whether or not we're going to start to accelerate time, which happens on like the normal matches, and then we go. Yeah, we've actually got like overtime here. So we've sped up to 50% of normal speed. So it's 150% tie-dye at this time.
Oh wow! This is reverse tie-dye then.
Exactly. So we're speeding up time, so the damage is applied quicker, reps applied quicker, and that will continue to happen up until we see like one of these guys break. So that means
I
that
have
the
never
reactions.
seen this before. This is quite amazing.
So the reactions of each team have to be like significantly quicker. As time goes on, you need to also be aware of your ship position and to make sure that you just don't go whizzing off out of the arena.
Well, it looks like they're anchored up pretty tight on their FC, at least over on the Reaver side. Space Violence seem to be a bit more scattered around the grid.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, I'm just having a look at those medium rep drones as well, which are just kind of like sitting out by Jerry over there. So there again, they're tanking all of the damage that's coming in on like both sides and doing it relatively comfortably. Tie-dye is now at 225%, and that continues to increase as we go through the match. We're already a minute and a half into time, so as that keeps going, it's going to become progressively harder and harder for both teams. But there again, I have to say that Reavers is holding very, very well at the moment.
Extremely well. None of them have even barely taken any shield damage except for maybe Locke and the Jackdaw.
Exactly, and it's like Reavers are like holding incredibly well, but yet that lock in the Jackdaw is definitely taking like damage there. Target painter on it; it's now getting reps. We'll have to see whether or not that's enough. It
Now
might
they're
be
getting
trying.
a lot closer on Stardust Mina. It looks like they're trying to snap her tank, his tank, the tank of the Scorpion. It's catching reps, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We're dipping past the... Oh, here we go. Now it's catching full rep.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, look at 350% tie-dye is, we're starting to see the damage bounce around a little bit more, with only kind of like, 6 and 7 people on the teams respectively. That you can lock up virtually everything as well. The Neros now, Jerry.
Oh, wow, there it goes.
That's it, gone. So it's like the Neros is down, and yeah,
And we're
it's
at
sort of
350% time dilation at this point. Everybody's screaming around the grid. This is getting pretty insane. Stardust Mina looks like it's going to be the next person to go.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's like,
smart bombs, trying to get those drones out of the way.
Not
going to be enough, and she is down.
That's it. So it's like we're now just expecting Reavers to just look at that damage. Like,
yep. Oh my gosh! Transcendental layer is about to fall too.
That's right.
Let's get a look at that whole tank.
It's like dizzying at the moment watching some of these ships up close. They're absolutely. They just need to be so careful that they don't just fly out of the arena as well at this time. They're being very kind of like reserved there on the Reavers side, but that crew is going down now. It's the only thing that's keeping space violence in at the moment. I think is just like piloting skill.
I almost wonder if that was the plan all along, just to wait until time dilation got so high that space violence just could not keep the reflexes up in order to repel a concerted 7-man Reaver assault when they're all full up on health and everything.
That's it. We're seeing 750% tie-dye now. It's sort of like
Wow!
the complete
Wow!
opposite of what we had in MTACO.
And last but not least is that Ashimu.
That's right. We're going to see whether or not
Oh.
they can pull back any points at all for space violence. But tremendous showing from those chaps. I mean, it's like they took it all the way. I
Oh,
think
yes,
Reavers made a
definitely.
very interesting call with basically running a very tight composition there where they just turtled up and then just hedged in towards the enemy and just dealt with all of that damage. So there we have it.
There
It's
we
sort of
go.
like the Imperium tournament winners are going to, well, they are like the Reavers with an absolute clean sweep there of space violence, who I believe gets second place, but back.
See, that's something we wouldn't be able to do in CC.
That was awesome.
And welcome back to the studio. That was the Reavers team versus Space Violence, with Reavers taking out the win in 750% tie-dye, reverse tie-dye, sorry, at the 16 seconds remaining mark. What a match. You know, we're going to try and get Asher in here to have a bit of a chat. What were your thoughts, Sothrasil?
I thought this was an amazing match. I mean, we didn't really know who was going to die first, and then all of a sudden that Oneros was breaking fast. But that was already in overtime, and it was a remarkable job from Asher. I believe Asher was anchoring. Pretty sure we can ask him once he's in here.
It looked like it to me.
Yeah, anchoring in with that speed, that was an amazing job.
Yeah, and we're joined by Asher now. We're just waiting to see him unmute his microphone and headphone, and we'll have a chat with him. There he is, Asher Elias, the winner of the first ever Imperium tournament. How are you feeling, sir?
Dude, I'm still shaking. 750% tie-dye flying Logi is a really, really crazy experience.
Yeah, we were just saying
man,
you were
I can
anchoring the fleet as well, yeah?
Yeah. Whew.
So talk us through step by step for the match, if you would.
Sure. So that was kind of you can't tinker anymore, but that was kind of what you would call a tinker comp. The Tengu has so much cap regen that it has a local rep that can really take a lot of damage, and then it has remote reps for healing your teammates. And we didn't know if they would come. We wanted them to rush in on us. They wisely chose not to. So they played the smart game because they stayed at the edge of our range, tried to pick people off, and we rep through it. It probably wasn't a terribly entertaining experience for the first 10 minutes because we were. But I don't know. You guys can't see when I get jammed, but that Scorpion got about 7 or 8 jams on me, and so you would see one of our ships go pretty deep in the shield before I was able to relock. That was with 2 remote sensor boosters on me, so they were very strong with the jams. And then it went into overtime, and the tie-dye keeps, it gets faster and faster. And by the time you notice someone's taking damage, they're already at half shields, and so trying to heal them is incredible.
Say that again, Borks.
Did you know the tie-dye was going to happen?
Well, yeah, I've watched the Alliance tournament before, and so I knew what happened at 10 minutes. So I was telling my guys, as soon as you see any damage, you need to tell me, because it's going to be really hit or miss. And they almost took out our Jackdaw in that reverse tie-dye.
It's probably really difficult to sort of control the grid as well, just because of the speed that everybody's moving at. Yeah.
Yeah, we could only move 80 kilometers a second because that's roughly the speed of the Scorpion Navy. So it mostly relies on they have the positioning. Near the end, we kind of just tried to pull them close to us, and then when their Logi got within range, we approached them at the best speed that we could. and that ended up being enough to break them. And once that happened, it wasn't easy, but that's when it started rolling downhill for us. Go ahead.
So I'm just going to put it out to everybody in the room to have a bit of a comment on the previous match. We'll start off with you, Borox.
Well, I was impressed with Ash's use of a pod there. Definitely a very good tactic that to divert them, make them laugh so much that they would miss the main target.
Reaver was definitely the star player, yeah.
We asked if there was a point value to the pod, and they said no. So we said, there's no reason not to have an extra set of eyes, on the grid to get our 7th spot filled. So
definitely, it's a smart move when you think about that. We thought that you were just bringing Reaver along for the ride, but no, you're definitely right. If you can get a second set of eyes on the grid, then that always helps. I know during the Alliance tournament, a lot of teams have have 5 to 10 people actually watching the Twitch stream, passing information. Even if the information is a couple of minutes late, it's still a lot of it is still useful and effective in the match. So having somebody there on grid, seeing it as it's happening, is definitely useful.
When we had a full 7-man team, we were just having someone. We were saying, "Hey, just start the timer." But with her being on grid, she could just see it in local and see. And so she was giving us the at 7 minutes, 6 minutes, and that kind of information that you don't want to be scanning and looking for. So it's really good to get it fed in. So that was useful to us.
So this was the only time that you fielded a 6-man team? Is that right?
Yeah, we went with the 7-man teams the rest of the way.
So what we haven't discussed is there were a number of teams that fielded only 6 players, and when it comes down to the ECM choosing the match, it's a lot easier to jam out 6 ships than it is to jam out 7. Mm-hmm. So is that one of the reasons you always chose to go with 7 ships as well?
Yeah, generally that composition, you just couldn't fit a 7th ship in there. And the thing with that composition is it's so slow that if they kill one ship, all they have to do is just run away the rest of the fight, and they win. So you have to have all your ships have enough tank that you can keep them alive under reps. So we went with a bunch of really high resist ships rather than kind of spreading it out to a 7th person and having to deal with. Also, Tengus can only lock 5 ships. So if you have 6 of them, you got your Tengu plus the 5 locked ships. You don't have to swap targets. It makes it a lot easier.
Good point. All right, let's have a look through the studio here. Eric, what were your thoughts on the match?
It actually didn't surprise me all that much. It was great that Space Violence, understood. Hey, they had to keep their distance, prolong it. I was really afraid that the Reaver guys were going to lose that one ship, and then lose the match with them running away, but it didn't happen out that way.
I guess you had the opportunity to try something different and just sort of put it out there, Asher, because if you did lose that match, you would move into the second match as the undefeated team throughout the tournament. So is that kind of in your mind?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to my team, is that hey, we can just chill out. They have all the impetus is on them. They have to push it to try to win. If we can just be casual, and we got another composition we could run after this. If we lose it, so don't worry about it. And so everyone was pretty calm until we got into the overtime there. Then people started getting pretty wound up. But we had by virtue of our practices, we need 14 people to do a full 7-on-7 practice, and we just happened to get 13 a bunch. And so 13 works out perfectly for a 6-man comp versus 7-man comp. So we had practiced with the Tengu Tinker comp more than any other one by a lot. So we were pretty confident in how to use it.
All right, there was Asher the Smasher Elias winning the Imperium tournament with Reavers. Sorry, Reavers.
Can I give some quick shout outs?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone who was on my team who practiced with us, and especially Locke Erasmus. Since I was doing Logi almost every fight, he was the anchor and made a lot of the calls, and so he really put in a really great performance. So I wanted to call him out especially. And I just want to say sorry to a couple guys who were not able to get in the tournament. So I wanted to apologize to them, but I do really appreciate all their effort.
All right, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for those people to join in to the tournaments coming up. Hopefully next year. Second place was Space Violence. Unfortunately, we don't have their team captain in the channel with us today, so we can't we can't discuss that. Third place went to Vader, and I believe fourth place went to Bomberwolf. Let's I'm just going to get some words from Sothrasil to see if we can get Space Violence's captain into the channel. Sothrasil, how do you think it all went? And you have a bit of a briefing for us.
Well, I think it went great. I mean, we actually went rushed with like everything. Initially I thought, well, we're just gonna do it at the start of next year. But then I thought, well, this is kind of a test run for us, right? So let's do it this year and try to get everything ready for December. Then like it was like last minute that we actually got a hold of CCP Logibro and got access to the Thunderdome server, and they actually sorted out access for some of the player like on the last day before the matches started. So with that in mind, we didn't really have a lot going wrong. We had some issues here and there, which were kind of expected when you play on the different server and play with like tools that aren't really made for players to touch, right? These tools are made for CCP to use and not for us. You can clearly tell. So I'm very happy with how this went. We stayed on time for most of the time. So yeah,
And as an
amazed
angry
by
German,
how this
that's
went.
of premium importance, correct?
Definitely always stay on time.
All right, now I believe that you asked to get Erzjim in here. Was it? Did you want to introduce him, Sothrasil?
Yeah, Ez was part of the SV team. Ez, are you here?
He's in here. I think maybe there's just some microphone issues. But I tell you, Moomin, we'll get your thoughts on the overall tournament, if you would please.
Yeah, I'd say that this whole tournament has actually been an amazing success. I mean, it's like a huge amount of work coming from a lot of people. Skeptic, Kyla, Sothi, done a huge amount, and then you've got like the referees as well. So like Tango Papa is in there as well. You've got people working on documents. You've got all the commentators, everyone in the studio, the guests. We then got people that wrote about it as well. A lot of effort from a lot of people, and considering that it was our first kind of crack at this, I'm actually really pleased, and I have to say I'm really looking forward to future events, and to also see how this develops. I know that there wasn't necessarily a limitation on people from other places with Eve actually joining teams, and that's something that I'd like to see more of going forward. But equally, I think that as a showcase of what we do in the Imperium, it was a really good showcase for our people, and hopefully it will stir people into action to get more involved with what we do.
Awesome. Ez, are you with us now?
Yes, I am.
Cool. If you want to just talk us through the match from your perspective, please.
Well, from our perspective, it was very, very, very frustrating. The fact that we couldn't break anything, and I ran out of cap charges at a certain point, so then I knew the match was over.
Oh, that's cool, man. But still, it's second place, and these aren't really easy teams that you're up against. I guess it might be frustrating to get beaten by Reavers twice, but I guess you take it as a learning experience. Make sure that you prepare for next time, and just aim to do better, I guess.
Yeah, I would like to give a big thanks to my team members, because we only met each other on the day that we started playing for the tournament, so we hadn't played at all together. Night before, me and Suzanne, we worked on doctrines, so we studied all night to see what would work and what wouldn't. And we also came to the conclusion of the semi-tinker, but we thought it would be too boring, so we didn't bring it. But congrats to Asher.
That was a little
Still
passive
works.
aggressive, but I'll take it.
It's a well deserved win there. So just in closing, I guess we want to say thank you to Sothrasil, who basically organised this whole tournament. It took a lot of work and a lot of time. Skeptic Nerd Guy, he has been running this stream like all day, you know, fixing things on the fly, and it's been absolutely amazing, really good quality. Did you have anything you wanted to say, Skeptic?
Sure. This has been a lot of fun, a huge learning experience for everyone, and I can't wait for the next one. It's only going to get better.
Cool, and thank you to the team captains, all the people that were involved, everybody on Twitch, all of the commentators, all of the referees, everybody that was involved. This has been the Imperium tournament run by the Imperium News Network. Thank you and good night.